Got to do a big yawn again.
Oh, don't.
Wow, it's
You're
contagious.
right, Dick.
It's contagious even over Zoom. Wow, who knew? Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast in the UK and everywhere else from the 8th to the 11th of May 2023. This is EastEnders. This is Albert Square After Dark. My name is Rob, and this lovely lady beside me is called. Tell them who you are.
I'm Ray. Hi.
Hello, Ray. How are you this week, my dear?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Rob?
I'm all right. Now, I want you to tell the listeners and the viewers exactly what you told me before we started recording. What have you been doing this week?
I don't know why you're going to rip on me for it, because
I'm
it
not.
was fabulous.
I'm sure it was, but I want to know more, but I thought I'd save it for the recording because I'm that guy. So tell me what you've been doing this week.
This week, ladies and gentlemen, I went to a full moon dream circle, and it was fabulous.
What is it? What is a full moon dream circle?
It's a restorative yoga session. Do you know what? Like 2.5 hours as well. Like
2.5 hours?
Yeah,
of
mate.
what?
And it didn't feel like it. Do you know what? It was basically like having a giant nap, but without napping. It was brilliant.
What did you do?
Well, it started by us getting cleansed with the essence. Is that the word? Of a tree that had got struck by lightning. So that's how we started.
Right.
I'm not going to lie, I was quite skeptical about this when that started happening. I'm like, here we go, hippy dippy. And then I got well into it. No, honestly, if you ever see a full moon dream circle, go for it. It was amazing.
But what? So the essence of a tree that was struck by lightning, or what does that essence do? It just cleanses you, or something.
Well, it's quite rare for a tree to get struck by lightning, is it not? And then for you to be able to.
Is it?
I don't know. We'll Google some stats on it.
Because you're not supposed to stand under trees during a lightning storm. So I presume that
it wasn't during the lightning storm. It was quite sunny, actually.
Well, I'll give you that. It's very rare for a tree to get struck by lightning in the middle of the sunshine. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
No, but we were in the sunshine when we got cleansed by it.
Yeah, I get that.
Anyway, and then it was just basically a lot of laying down in yoga poses that were really chilled, though, to be fair. But they weren't mega yoga poses. It was just laying down whilst she talked to us about life and this, that, and the other. And then you come out on the other side and you're re-energized. And now I feel ready for my month. It was amazing.
Well, I tell you who would love that. Freddy would love that, wouldn't he? That'd be right up his alleyway.
Yeah, probably would, to be fair. It probably would. Yeah, I could totally imagine Freddy going to one of them. Anyway, if you're a Ree or a Freddy, go to one. It's brilliant.
Go to one. There you go. If you need your spirit cleansing by the spirit of a dead tree that's been burned to cinders by a lightning strike, then that's what you need to do. There we are.
I knew you were going to rip on me for it. I was waiting for it.
Honestly, cynical me?
Man.
Am I ever cynical or sarcastic? Never. Sounds like a really fulfilling way to spend your time.
It was.
I mean, please.
I feel better for it.
Comment section, stick up for Ree here. If you've ever been to anything like that or you're into that sort of thing, let me know.
It's restorative yoga. I'm sure some people have been to restorative yoga. It might not have been called that.
There you go. If you go under a tree that's been struck by lightning in the middle of a sunshine spell, see what you can do with it. Right. We have much to discuss. It's been a very, very busy week of EastEnders, isn't it? And we have a new arrival that I cannot wait to start talking about. So shall we talk about this week's EastEnders?
Let's do it.
Right then, we'll start this week's discussion by speaking about Sonia and Reiss. Interesting story here. I'm intrigued to this is interesting. So obviously last week we left them with Rocky overhearing this conversation between Reiss and his wife, that we know, and he's fretting about this and not sure what to do about it. Like, he knows that something's going on and he wants to talk to Sonia about it. Kathy is basically telling him to mind his own business, and Rocky. Now let's be honest here, Rocky, a bit of a hypocrite here. I think fair to say.
Yeah, just a bit.
Just slightly.
I mean, if you're to compare the two, I think Reiss's is not quite as bad as what Rocky.
Not really, considering
but there you go.
Rocky came in literally pretending to be Sonia's father. So
yeah, for months and months and months as well. Like,
in order to get money out of her. So, it's like, it's good job Reiss didn't know about that, really, because otherwise he'd be like, do you want to mind your own business and sod off, you hypocrite, innit?
Surely he does know. Yeah, because he should be throwing it back in his face, being like, says one to no one, whatever the saying is.
So says one to no one. That's the one. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's definitely the expression. That's definitely how it goes. Anyway, so it's Sonia's birthday, as we know, for the coronation.
Yes.
So that's what all last week's drama was about. And Sonia kind of fretting about the fact that Reiss was going to ignore the birthday, but he hasn't.
Yeah.
He buys her a new trumpet for her birthday.
Yes.
They are determined to bring back trumpet Sonia, which I don't hate.
I don't hate it at all. Bring it back.
Great.
Bring it back.
This is great.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen Natalie Cassidy over the years. Like she invariably kind of in interviews will randomly just get a trumpet thrown at her by an interviewer. Like,
she's done it recently, hasn't she? She's been like a Eurovision host of some sorts, and I saw her do a little clip like that.
Oh, she loves that trumpet.
She's like a Eurovision host or something, and she got a trumpet out and like miming like.
All right, fair enough. But eventually, Rocky kind of he conspires. He kind of nicks Reiss's phone.
Nicks Reiss's phone,
yeah, and then goes over to the house while Sonia's playing on her trumpet because they've got this. They're supposed to be performing for the coronation. Yeah, so they're supposed to be performing for the coronation party that's going on in the square. And he basically pulled it out of Reiss, like, so what's going on here? And Reiss is one of those things where he says the truth and Sonia's standing behind him as he says it, overhears.
Of course, yeah.
Sonia goes mad at this when he eventually confesses, I'm married, and she's a wonderful woman. Like, as if that was going to really improve things.
Yeah.
So Sonia chucks him out in front of the whole square, mass humiliation.
Just as they've all gone quiet for
for God Save the King.
Yeah.
So all that humiliation. And then he spends the night in his car, has to be moved on by a traffic warden. Eventually, there's a nice little moment where Eve comes along and sort of, actually listens to what's going on. Love Eve. Eve's great.
She's brilliant, isn't she? I think she'll empathise because she's technically part of an affair, isn't she? So I think she'll it's not that straightforward. Well, not
even technically. No. She's 100% part of an affair. She is the other one. She is the
affair. Yeah.
She is the affair. And Eve basically persuades Sonia to actually hear Reiss out and listen to actually what's going on. And we discover officially what's going on. Now, we had kind of hypothesized that clearly Debbie was ill.
Great
we kind of hypothesized. I went to uni. Yeah, I did.
I know you did.
Yeah. Only just. Now and again I turned up, didn't we? Now and again. Anyway, so we kind of figured that Debbie was ill because Reiss didn't seem the sort to be kind of having an affair with with the whole other life going on. It wasn't like leading a double life. He just never got round to telling her, apparently. Yeah. So we go to Walford General and we meet Debbie. So and Debbie has had a massive stroke. And she can't move, she can't swallow. She had a massive bleed on her brain by the time that Reiss managed to find her. So it's really devastating. Like they had a really, really happy marriage. Like she seems very young.
Looks like it.
Very young to be having like a massive, massive stroke that has basically left her.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really, really sad. But it's because I was watching this because I'd been expecting it to be the fact that she was dying and that she had, that she had cancer or something like that. But a massive stroke, it's like I didn't see that one coming at all, and it's really, really sad. But
I thought it might have been like early onset. I don't know why I had early onset dementia for some reason. Yeah,
I know it's something like that. But it's so he's basically been going to the hospital and visiting her, and sort of because she can't move, she can't speak or anything like that, and he's basically apparently told her all about Sonia. And this is for me where it kind of got a bit. Is there a moral story to be told here? Because it's not that I don't think. It's not that I'm not on Reiss's side here, but I was just I don't know. There's something about it. I was surprised that he would want to have a relationship with Sonia when this is going on, because I don't know if it was really established how long ago this happened.
Well, this is the thing. I get that. No, I totally get it. But then when he was trying to explain it to Sonia, he was saying like, I wasn't expecting me and you to happen. It just sort of happened. It's not like he were going out of his way looking to start a relationship with someone while his wife's in hospital.
That's what I mean, yeah.
So I think it is one of those things where it's just happened and he weren't intending it to go this far. I mean, he's that type of guy as well, isn't he? He's that that you can imagine that he's just got in too deep and then gone, now I've got feelings and no, I've not told her about my wife.
And headlights.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's just that, to be fair.
yeah, I mean, it really kind of. I mean, Reiss was great this week. Like, really nice performances
Yeah.
throughout this because this is
He's
hardcore stuff.
ace.
He's great, isn't he? I love Reiss.
Yeah.
Um, and so obviously when Sonia finds all this out, she's kind of like, okay, right, yeah, I'm really sorry for you. I'm sorry this is happening to you, but you lied to me. You know,
Hmm.
you basically kind of got into my bed. You moved into my house. This is the other thing. He moved into Sonia's house while all this was going on.
And I
That's
don't
what.
get this, right? Sorry, I've got to interject here with
Yeah,
why
yeah.
did he move into Sonia's house? And then obviously when she's kicked him out, he's sleeping in his car. So what's happened
The
to
house
the
that they were
house that
living
he
in.
presumably had with his wife? Is it
I
that he
can't.
couldn't afford to keep it because
Yeah, I mean, I can't
of fair
remember
condition? I mean,
where
that would be believable, wouldn't it?
it would be, but I can't remember where Reiss originally said he came from because obviously
No, I
we met him
can't.
at Dot's funeral, and I
Dot's
can't remember where
funeral,
he's
yeah.
yeah, I can't remember where he said he was from. It could be
Mm,
that they might cover that maybe in the coming
yeah,
weeks as to why
yeah.
he moved into Sonia's house. But that was the other thing, like he moved to Sonia's house. And when they first met, it was basically this mad passionate affair where they were basically in the bedroom for the whole weekend, if you remember,
Yeah.
at the wake. So they were having like this really mad passionate affair, all sort of enunciated by trumpet music. It was all very hot, very all that sort of thing. Tromboner. And,
Good one. Good, no, that were a good one. I like that.
innuendo. But yeah, so
What?
Sonia is basically kind of like, all right, I'm really sorry for you, but you know, I can't do this. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but goodbye. This is goodbye.
And she
Um,
did make a point of saying, you've only now told me because you've been caught
because
out.
you've
It's
been
not
caught. Well,
because you
this is
fessed up.
yeah. I mean, this is the other thing. Like, how long was Reiss planning on leaving this for?
I
Like,
know, I
obviously,
know.
I get that. You know, he's sort of reached a point now where he's kind of like, when is it ever going to be a good time to mention? Like, the longer this goes
Mm.
on for, the worse it's going to be. So this is going to be your reaction
But he is
here.
that kind of guy, to be fair, isn't
Yeah,
he? He is that kind of guy who's like, oh, no, I really should tell her. Oh, not today, though. Maybe I'll tell her tomorrow. Oh, no, not
I
tomorrow.
mean,
Oh, no, now's not
yeah,
the right time. I can imagine him going through that
yeah.
constantly.
Because he's now fallen in love with Sonia, he tells her this week, and
Yeah, yeah.
Sonia's kind of fallen for him as well because she kind of just met this really unique guy that just completely ticked all her boxes for reasons that she doesn't
Yeah.
quite understand.
Yeah.
But you know, and she was really, really happy with him, and so to discover this, and
Mm.
it also sort of reminds me of when she was with Tina and she was being forced to look after Sylvie. Maybe there's kind of moments like that in her head
Oh, yeah.
where she's kind of like, I
Yeah.
don't want to have to go through all that again. So, you know, I imagine that there's quite a few kind of tumultuous thoughts going on inside her
Mm.
head. But she has a word with Lola at one point, who I think
Oh, yeah.
kind of makes her think, oh, well, you know, life's for living, you
Life's too
know,
short.
life's too short, effectively. So she rings Reiss and says, all right, look, I do love you. And I'll give this a go. I will support you through Debbie and Reiss is obviously delighted. And so
Mm-hmm.
and then they end up going back to the hospital. And I think
Yeah.
Sonia's just sort of watching him, like, am I going to do this? Is this okay? Like, can
Mm.
I?
Well,
But she
she's already
seems,
committed, to be fair, mate,
yeah,
by that point. She's already said, yeah, let's
yeah.
do it. This is all, I'll go and see her every day and
I mean, this is
watch
gonna,
Pointless.
it's gonna. I mean, this is going to be interesting now. Like, I wonder how long Deb, if you know, is Deb? Because I think Reiss basically implied that you know they could get the phone call at any moment to say that she's passed away. That you know, obviously that she's in a non-saving state at this point.
Mm.
So it's kind of really interesting. Like, how is this going to work for their relationship, and how because he's using Sonia basically as, yes, he does love her, but he's also going to be now using her as emotional support at this point. So
Mm.
it's interesting. I like it. I do like it, but I think there was elements of it that I was surprised by. But maybe you know
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
when life throws you a curveball like that, like how would any of us react? I suppose in a way.
Yeah, you just don't know, do you? Well, having said that, I don't think I'd be able to do what he's doing
No, I don't know if I would. This is
if
the
I were
thing.
in that position.
Well, this is the thing because it was like Reiss
Touch
made it
wood.
quite clear that Reiss made it quite clear that like this was the perfect marriage. Like Debbie was the
Mm.
best thing that ever happened to him, and like he loved her. He loved the ground that she
So
worked.
sorry, I've missed something where he said that it's, it's a case of she's definitely not going to survive this
Well,
then,
this is
100%.
yeah. Basically the inclination was he said, and I wrote this down. He said she's had a massive stroke. She can't move, she can't swallow, and there's a significant bleed on her brain.
Bleed on the
So
brain, yeah.
yeah, so
So,
that's the
okay,
key
right, okay.
factor.
So we're going to assume that, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think basically
Mm.
the assumption is I think that she's not going to survive this in
It's
the long
it's
run.
so sad, isn't it?
It's really
That
sad,
that
like
that
having
there's
to go
like
through
actually
that,
people, yeah, that have
and
to go through it, and
a young
the
couple as
fact
well. Like,
and the fact that she might actually be able to hear absolutely everything that's going on, but she's just
yeah,
paralyzed in her
that's
body.
just it's one of those stories that if you think about it too hard, that it's kind of like, oh my god, that's horrible. Like, bless them. I really, really feel sorry for him, and some really nice performances from Reiss this week, because I cannot imagine what it is like to go through any aspect of that story. No. Like, that is just that's just awful. So from here on in, like, so what? I think Sonia's going to find this hard, though, isn't it? She really is going to find this difficult to sort of, because at the end of the day, she isn't now she knows that she's not the main focus of it. She knows that she's going to be the emotional comfort and that she'll be there afterwards. But this is going to be a struggle for Reiss, I think.
Maybe she's going to be kind of professional about it whilst she's in the situations. Obviously, she's a nurse, so she's quite desensitized, really, and used to having to deal with families that are struggling. I know that it's not a job, literally.
Reiss did mention that the care that Debbie now needs isn't something that could be provided at home. Like, she needs to be in like sort of specialist care.
Yeah.
So yes, I think Sonia could or would know ways to provide that, but I don't think it's going to be a case of like sort of them bringing Debbie home to live with them. I think she's going to have to stay in the hospital while she's got like 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
She's wired up, isn't she? She can't swallow, so she needs that. She sort of needs that sort of care.
But I mean, Sonia might support Reiss in a professional way, as in supporting Reiss, not Debbie. How she'd support families who might be going through it, and how she'd sit down and have a cup of tea with them when she's at work and explain what's what kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a job, but that's how I think it's going to go anyway. But I mean, to be fair, Reiss couldn't have found a better person to help him with this, could he?
No, ideal, really.
Like, literally, out of every single person on Albert Square, Sonia is the best person for this. So.
She is indeed. And they're going to be great together, I think, in the long run. But I am intrigued to sort of see how this is all going to play out, because it's like you say, this is heavy. It's heavy stuff for Reiss. It's a big story for a character to kind of get straight away when they've kind of first appeared. So I'm excited to see this. And a big story for Sonia as well, which was needed, because Sonia's not had a big story for a long, long time. So good times. I'm excited to see it. So moving on now to Kim, Denzel, and all of the kind of Fox stuff that was going on with Kim this week. So during the coronation, Kim is fretting about Denzel. She's really worried about Denzel this week, and sort of worrying about whether he's left the house and whether he's ill. And it's a little bit weird at the start, and then we sort of realise that she's developing some really bad feelings of anxiety around what's happened. Because it's her court case this week, so she's really starting to kind of get herself all fret up about it. And eventually, this all sort of culminates. She's in the bar and she's asked to go and get some ice from the suppliers. Now, and when she's in the car, she has a massive panic attack. Now, I would argue that one of the reasons she had this panic attack was because she had to try and use a weird clutch thing in the car.
I totally thought that. What was that? I mean, this is to use that.
I mean, this is Emily, this car that Finlay has been trying to fix for the past 6 months or however long it's been sat there. I mean, I'm doing driving lessons at the moment, and let me tell you that the normal like manual clutch is difficult enough for me to get my head around. So trying to move like one of them sort of knob things, I wouldn't have a clue. No, it was the other thing. What was it? No, it's the I can't remember what it's called. It's
the ignition.
Ignition or some manual ignition or something like that. But either way, it's something that isn't normally in cars anymore. So that would confuse me straight away.
And seeing as though the last time she drove a car, she had a massive crash. Yeah, I'd be a bit nervous about.
Yeah, so this is basically it though. Like, so the crash has apparently like now made Kim really anxious around the idea of driving and sort of panicking about Denzel and all that kind of thing. It's really, really interesting. So she has this panic attack and Denzel discovers her kind of in the car, like can't breathe, really, really panicking. Tell you what, Denzel this week, great week for Denzel, I think. Like, really,
I told you he's a good one, didn't I?
Oh, I really like Denzel, and it feels really natural as well. Like the way that Denzel's kind of grown within that unit, it's kind of like he's really become fond of Kim. He's become really fond of Patrick, probably really fond of Denise as well, and he's growing into a nice lad. I like Denzel.
He's very mature for his age.
He's getting there, isn't he? Because when he first started, he was quite immature, but I think that he's really starting to grow in recent months, isn't he? And his relationship with Kim is lovely, and that kind of grows throughout the week because he's really concerned about her. He's really, really worried. He's not interested at all, like, about himself. Like, I'm fine, Kim. You need to stop worrying about me. I'm okay. Let's focus on your court case. So, and he wants her to tell Howie that, you've had a panic attack. This isn't good. All right. We need to make sure you're okay. Kim's brushing it off like, hey, I'm fine. So they're the court case. she has another panic attack, and this time helped down by Linda, which is again,
Yeah.
I like the kind of like the throwbacks to when Mick had anxiety. So
Yeah, that's true that Linda were able to
Linda knew what to do
help
in that
her, yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice stuff, nice stuff. So she goes to the courtroom eventually, kind of still fretting and sort of like her mind's kind of all over the place. Most useless barrister or lawyer or whatever he was, like
Yeah, innit?
like throwing all up his papers around. Clearly didn't have a clue what was going on in the courtroom. Didn't even
Well,
know her
to be
name to
fair, she
start
probably
off
can't
with.
afford, someone that great, can she?
Well, you can't, she ain't going to be able to afford Richie or anything like that. But you think that she could, at least this lawyer could know her name and know which court case he was walking into before he started. I did quite like him in the courtroom though. I didn't have any clue on how to address the judge. Yes, my lord.
Yeah.
Yes, my lord. Yes, your liege. I like that. I had to be told to just call him sir. Basically, she is released on unconditional bail to appear in front of the Crown Court.
Crown Court,
and is banned from driving. So, I mean, she wouldn't have to worry about having to kind of be behind the wheel of a car for a while, but she's now got to appear in front of like.
Going to Crown Court's not great. That it's not being resolved at a magistrate's, is it? So she's looking at some kind of sentence, I would have thought.
It's not good. I mean, what kind of? I mean, I'm very because I'm only just starting driving. I haven't committed any driving offences yet, as far as I know. So, I mean, what do you think? What do you reckon the outcome to this might be? Like worst case scenario. Worst case scenario.
I don't know. I mean, I know I drive, but I couldn't tell you. I've not touched wood any driving offences. So, I mean, maybe worst case, she's admitted to being on her phone, and I know you can get really, really done for that. And then, so she's admitted to it and had a major crash and injured people.
Yeah,
that's when they're bothered. You see, I know people who crash cars, and as long as no one's been injured, they don't even question it. As soon as someone's been injured, that's when they're Yeah. So who knows? Especially for the reason that she's given as well.
Yeah.
So, and
she said guilty as well, didn't she? Like she's
maybe a
holding
couple
her
of
hands
years,
up to
but
it.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think she'll go to prison, but I think there's going to be.
No, I don't. But I think maybe a suspended sentence or something, or community service maybe. And I think she's looking at a long driving ban for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. But this is it. It's not really about the court case at this point now. It's more about her suddenly having these panic attacks. Now, because this isn't something that you. I think that the story they're telling here is like even someone like Kim can go through this, isn't it? Because this is like the last thing you would ever expect someone as vivacious and flamboyant and confident as Kim to go through. So it was interesting to sort of see this side of Kim this week. I really liked it. And then at Kathy's party, who, by the way, 73 Kathy is this birthday.
And did you see her pins? I was jealous.
She could be Ben's younger sister, as far as I'm concerned.
Honestly, she looks so fantastic. Well, we all know this, but my goodness, she looks great, doesn't she?
That woman was fed the fountain of youth water when she was growing up, and I tell you, and she hasn't aged a day since she started EastEnders.
She hasn't.
73, can you believe that? Kathy is in.
No, I can't.
That's mad, absolutely mad. But at Kathy's party, Denzel and Amy basically both pledged to Kim, like, we're going to be here for you, all right? We're there for you, but you need to get in touch with a doctor, all right? Because we need to get this anxiety under control. Kim promises to go in touch with a doctor, and it was just a nice ending to this story for the week. Now, I don't know where this is going to go per se, but
I just say though, doesn't that just show you how much more young people are educated on mental health these days? There's two teenagers who've gone to Kim and said, you need to get some help, we know about this.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, obviously, Amy's got what's going through what Denzel is obviously there for Amy, so he's kind of getting used to sort of he's having to learn quite a lot about mental health quite quickly, I think, as Denzel, bless him. But I just love the way that both of them just kind of said, yeah, we're there for you. Denzel is complete, loves Kim to pieces and is there for her. I think it's really, really nice. It's a really, really nice unit growing around there. So yeah, it's great. I love it. So in a busy week, there are always some slightly smaller, tiny stories. So let's cover them while we've got them. We'll start off with Alfie and Freddy and Stacey. Now, Sam is staying in Spain until the end of summer, we're kind of told. So that means that 5D is available to rent, and Jack is putting the flat up for rent. Alfie overhears this conversation between Denise and Kim and jumps on the chance to get his own little bachelor pad. I would love that. Can I just say, just like somebody just told me, oh, there's a flat there. I'll do you at mates' rates. You can move in there. Sorted. Love that. Never happens in real life, that does it? I would love that.
No, not affordable anyway.
No, especially not in London. Christ alive! Like in the middle of London with a subway with an underground just around the corner. No, that's not.
If anything, Freddy, is helping him out, really, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he's certainly helping Alfie out more than he is Stacey, because Stacey is obviously, as we know, absolutely brassic. Interesting moment with Stacey this week, I thought, in relation to the whole coronation thing that everybody else was celebrating. Now, regardless on your views of the royals and all that, and all of that, just to speak about the coronation episode on Monday, Harvey at one point, and now maybe not the character you'd expect to say this, but Harvey at one point turned around and said, like, maybe surely all of his money could be spent better elsewhere, you know. I was surprised they mentioned it, in all honesty, and the opinion was quickly sort of dismissed by Jean. But I thought it was interesting that, like, they had all these characters sort of celebrating the coronation, and at the same time, you've got a woman who, to deal with the cost of living crisis, is selling photos of herself online to put food on the table.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we were supposed to sort of make that ironic connection or whether it was intentional.
I didn't make that ironic connection, I must admit. But
you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, you know, like I say, regardless on your views of the royal family.
I mean, didn't we see when Linda was saying that speech at the start of the episode? Didn't that when we saw Stacey like going through her phone?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if there was a sort of subliminal sort of messaging going on there. I mean, let's be honest, it's the BBC. You know, they have to be. You know, they do the coronation, they have to celebrate it, and you know that's fine. That's the BBC's role. But I just thought it was interesting, like, you know, how much further would they have gone with that? How much further could they have gone with that? You know, it's interesting.
A lot further, but they didn't. Yeah.
Nah, it's the BBC, and that's sort of their role. They've got to sort of be very patriotic with that sort of thing. But yeah, interesting. But yeah, that does Alfie moving in to his own flat, and Freddy just randomly decided to move in with him as well. Although I thought it was quite funny that Stacey was less bothered about Freddy because he eats more than he pays. Like
which is completely believable,
completely
as well,
fair. Yeah, but she was really fretting about Alfie, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Freddy can go. That's fine."
Yeah,
so I quite like that. But Stacey got a notification on her phone, like, I think she was starting to doubt herself about whether she was going to get any money from this, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And then she got 30 quid just sent to her from
someone
put
a comment, nice body, 30 quid, yeah.
Body, here's 30 quid. And she was like, oh, okay then. I mean, is it this easy? Is it this easy to do this? I mean, I would.
Fair play, you know what?
I mean, I've got nothing against people. I've got nothing against people that do this, but I wonder how much money can you make from that. It's interesting.
This is the thing that we mentioned before. There's a difference between wanting to do it because you're being empowered for whatever reason, and you're choosing to do it, or Stacey angle where she's so desperate for cash that she's doing it. She shouldn't really want to do it, does she? Let's be honest.
No, I mean, it's not really been mentioned a huge amount over the past few weeks, like, but it's just sort of been clearly ticking away in the background off screen. But I'm really enjoying this Stacey story. It's an interesting sort of look at what someone has to do to get money in this day and age, and what's possible to be done in this day and age with money. Interesting, right? Anyway, so Alfie and Freddy move in together, and then we've got this sort of thing where Eve is trying to convince Freddy that the flat is haunted. There's a dodgy boiler.
Oh yeah, a bit of daft.
Yeah, bit of daft, bit of fluff. She makes Freddy jump. Mission accomplished. Yep. And that's sort of the end. So Freddy and Alfie, basically, moral of this story is that Freddy and Alfie are now living together. The boys are going to move in with Alfie. So it's going to be a bit of a lad's pad. Clearly, when Sam returns, because she is returning, we've been reliably informed.
Yeah.
So she is returning. So at some point, she's going to want that flat back. So I don't know where, but then I can sort of imagine Alfie being elsewhere by the time Sam comes back. You know, whether that be
possibly
with Linda.
Or Jack might even said, you know what, Sam, you're going to have to find somewhere else because I can't just keep it open for you.
Possibly.
Whim that you're going to come back. So
yeah, because Jack's not just going to leave kids homeless, is he? So yeah, interesting. See where that goes. And then the other small story, really kind of small, and I'm not really sure what's going on here, was Finley and his necklace. They get this necklace kind of priced up. It's going to be worth about $6,000, they work out. Mitch is annoyed because they're planning on like splashing it all on like an Ibiza road trip holiday. And he's kind of like, no, Avery left you this money. Didn't really leave him this money. He left them a necklace dangling down from the bottom of the car that they might never have discovered.
Yeah.
Just think that's very, very odd. But they basically decide, right, okay.
I don't think Avery's going to have left it him because it just seems so, like you say,
it was just something
almost impossible that they were going to find it.
Something out of an Agatha Christie novel, isn't it? Like, just there happens to be a necklace dangling down from this old car that I happen to. It's very odd. Mm-hmm. But they decide to pay the Taylors' council tax. Another example of like sort of a poor family trying to get money together whilst all the stuff with the coronation was going on.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but I just found that very, very interesting. Let us know in the comments below what you think of all that sort of malarkey. Did you enjoy the coronation episodes? What were your thoughts? Did they do too much? Did they do too little? Let us know. So the time has come for Lola to leave the salon. God, this was heartbreaking this week, wasn't it? Really, really, really sad
Really
stuff with Lola.
heartbreaking.
So she kind of comes to work and she can already tell that she's struggling to sort of stay upright and like really struggling with like how she's feeling. And then eventually she's having kind of quite an innocent conversation with one of her customers who has a kid with her. And the customer says something along the lines of, yeah, in the blink of an eye, my kid will be 18, which really kind of brings home to Lola, I'm not going to be here for Lexi's 18th. So
it's so sad. I can't even cope watching this. Honestly,
I mean,
it's so sad.
I thought it was really interesting what you said last week about since you've become a mother, this story has kind of hit you much harder than it would have done beforehand. It's and I can understand that, especially when you're talking about the fact that she kind of went home and started writing these birthday cards for Lexi for like when she was 18. Like that's hard, isn't it? Like what?
Yeah, I cried
Yeah.
at that. Honestly,
Like,
it's just too much. It's
yeah.
too relatable. It's just absolutely horrible to think that people actually go through it. It's
Yeah.
no.
It's really, really heartbreaking. And then she eventually she goes to Denise and says, I can't do this anymore. I think it's time for me to stop the salon." Really hard. Like,
That was a
left.
heartbreaking scene as well with her and Denise, don't you think? It was like the end of an era, and
Yeah.
I
Because
think when she,
Lola's worked there for years in the salon. Like
yeah,
she's been there a good few years now. So kind of on and off when she's kind of gone and come back, but she's been
come
like
back,
a
yeah.
part of the salon. Like she was working there when Dean used to own it. Like all
Wow.
when it was Blades. So
Yeah.
I can remember her and Paul Coker having like a kind of haircut competition to see who got the
Oh,
job.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, she's been there a fair few years. Yeah, so she eventually kind of has to say to Denise, right, I can't do this anymore. Denise is obviously upset, obviously sad. They have a really nice hug. It's a really kind of moving moment. And then Denise says, I'll do a leaving party. I don't know how this leaving party is gonna like. How do you do a leaving party in that context? Like, sorry, you're leaving on a banner like that's we gotta be so careful
Oh, I
with
didn't
like
think of it like that. I didn't
no
think of that.
all the
I mean,
decorations
I
and
think
everything.
people are just wanting to throw parties, really, aren't they? And help her
Yeah,
enjoy life and stuff. But yeah, it's a bit. But then
she's
it also it's kind of normal in a way because they would throw her a leaving party if
Yeah,
she was
I mean
leaving
this completely, and
circumstances.
I think Lola appreciates everyone trying to sort of normalize it all for her,
Yeah,
and sort of
yeah,
it's just so difficult for her, and she is starting to really struggle now because she has to kind of constantly go home and rest, and so she's constantly asleep on the sofa because it's just knackering her out so much.
Well, she
It's
said
really hard.
when she was talking to Sonia, she said, didn't she, that she's just struggling to even get out of bed
Yeah,
some days and get
she's
off
got
the
no
sofa.
energy.
So,
She's
but
got
she
no energy
also said to
whatsoever.
Sonia at one point, that I was like, oh God, that makes you think that. She said, she liked going to the salon because everyone's happy there. It's a happy
Yeah,
place, and
it's a good
it makes you
distraction.
think, yeah, and it just makes you think, wow, like someone's seeing the good in the very tiny things in life, like going to work and
Yeah,
going to a salon, and that's a happy place for us. So yeah,
yeah.
really, really sad.
So obviously while that is going on, Ben's got his stuff going on as well. So we got some
Oh,
sort
of
of
course he has.
well, we got a bit more insight into Ben's bulimic storyline this week.
Oh yeah, sorry, not
Yeah.
belittling that, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. Like, like again, like he kind of got himself all drunk and aggressive. Had a fight with Vinny for no reason whatsoever, and like burst in on like just because he was
Yeah,
drunk. And
Jane. Yeah, Jay and Lola when they were watching a film.
this is
It's just so self-obsessed though, isn't it? Like I know the bulimia stuff, I understand it all. But only Ben could make it about himself when Lola's dying. That's all I'm gonna say.
this is kind of like the line that Ben is always treading though, because like yes he is doing that, but it's at the same time as he's going through something really kind of traumatic. So it's kind of like it's so difficult to sort of know where you because at times you just want to throttle him. It's like will you stop doing this? Like will you pull yourself together? But at the same time he's going through something that is beyond his control. With the bulimia. So it's just it's so difficult. But then when he's going to go and get drunk, and obviously because he's not been eating,
Yeah, it's gonna go
he get,
straight to his head, yeah.
he gets hammered from one whiff of a lager. So and obviously because he's struggling and he's sad and he's kind of nervous and anxious and all that kind of thing, the alcohol hits him the wrong way, becomes aggressive and emotional, and it just all becomes awful for him. But he is supposed to pick up Lexi for Kathy's birthday party.
Yeah, the
Gets drunk.
Eurovision party.
Yeah, gets drunk, completely forgets about that. We'll talk about this Eurovision party briefly because Rocky invites Cheryl Baker to this.
Obs.
I mean, why wouldn't he? Because obviously Eurovision is happening this weekend. So, I mean, there was a lot for EastEnders, a lot of like real life stuff for EastEnders to cover this week, wasn't there? Like a lot going on with, and
Yeah.
a lot of birthdays and a lot of stuff to kind of cover with like
Yeah, true.
coronation
Yeah.
and Eurovision. But yeah, there's a Eurovision party for Kathy. Rocky rings up Cheryl Baker because he's mates with her, because of course he is. And
Saved a cow tree once.
yeah, and Bucks Fizz is performed, and it's all very lovely. It's just like,
Standard Rocky, really, isn't it?
how many celebrities does he actually know? Because like we've had Harry
Loads.
Redknapp, Cheryl Baker. Was he the reason that Rag and Bone Man turned up or not? I can't remember where Rag and Bone Man was just.
I can't remember that exactly either. I feel like Rag and Bone Man just turned up. He was just like, "Oh, this pub looked all right," but I don't know. Maybe it was
sitting
Rocky.
here, and all of a sudden I'm getting pulled up to do a performance on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Because the people in Warford need entertaining. My God, do they need entertaining?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it's so easy to sort of say all this about Ben, and it really, really is easy to say all this about Ben. But obviously, you know, the bulimia stuff was hard to watch, you know, because he's not eating. He took a bite of the sandwich and then immediately spat it out.
Chucked it in bin,
watching, looked at his chocolate bar, which by the way was called Chocky Walk or something like that. You see?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Remember the Chocky bar, Chocky
really
Walk.
Weird.
Like running out of names to call chocolate bars because of the licensing thing. I understand that. But Chocky Walk, really? Chocky Walk? Oh,
it's meant to be like those Charlie and the Chocolate Factory type of chocolate bars or something. I can't remember, called Tony's or something. I've never had one of them actually.
Get a bar of Chocky Walk from the shop, would you?
Yeah, Chocky Walkie Walker.
So yeah, it's just difficult for him. So how does this play out now? Because, and this is the other thing, I don't know how Callum copes with all this. Like, just another issue, just, you know, Ben kind of.
You know what, though, to be fair, like, some people are just like Ben, though. Yeah. This is how some people do react to things like this. Like, I'm saying, only he could make it about himself, but it's actually very common, I think, for a lot of people to go off like this. It's just, they can't cope, can they? So, I don't know where it's going to go, actually. It's not going to go anywhere good, is it? Let's be honest.
No, well, it seldom does for Ben. But
is it going to go down something? I mean, you would think he could get it together for Lexi's sake. So I think there's obviously going to be some involvement for Lexi. I mean, poor Lola thinking that Lexi's dad can't cope and that she won't be here for her. And then, so it's understandable why she wants Jay to adopt.
Yeah, I mean,
Lexi,
this is the other thing though, because obviously all the pressure from kind of trying to keep Lola and Jay in decent money and looking after Lexi, that's all kind of piling on top of him as well as the bulimia stuff. Like, this is what I mean. The bulimia stuff is so sort of separate from everything else, and yet everything else that was going on would surely be enough to kind of push Ben towards like drink and struggling. So I'm yet to sort of see kind of where the bulimia stuff is really going to sort of lead his story, because it feels like at the moment it's kind of like, right, so Lola's story wasn't enough. Let's give Ben this other big thing to deal with. And it's not like the bulimia stuff is going to be a short-term thing. Like, he's got an eating disorder, so this is going to be a long runner. This is going to go on for months and months yet. So it's kind of because he's going to have to go through sort of medical help and maybe therapy and
how long is it going to take for someone to notice? Because people can hide it really well, can't they?
Well, Callum has already sort of like said stuff to him about like, oh, you're not eating properly, like
little things, yeah.
So whether Callum eventually puts two and two together at some point, I don't know, or whether Ben is honest.
He's a detective now, so.
Well, you'd think he would notice stuff, wouldn't you? Bless Ben. We'll see where it goes, but yeah, I mean, it's Max Bowden's great and everything, but it's just like sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes Ben is so exhausting.
I think we're supposed to feel like this about Ben, though. I don't even hate Ben either. Yeah, no, I don't hate Ben. I kind of, it's just, I think it's all very believable and understandable why he goes off the way he does, to be honest. It's just frustrating.
I don't know about understandable.
I'm only frustrated because of Lola going through this and him being this way, but obviously that is how people react. So, yeah, I don't.
I mean, let us know in the comment section below. Like I said last week, Ben is always contentious. Ben always creates debate. So let us know in the comment section below what you think of all this, and where do you think the Ben storyline is going to go? How does he get help from here, and how does Callum going to spot things, or does Ben have to start helping himself? let us know. Now then, ladies and gents, one final storyline to discuss, and it's a very exciting one. The new Queen of the Vic has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, be upstanding for your new Queen of the Vic. Yes, Elaine Peacock has arrived. She is the person that was on the mystery call. She is the Vic's new partner, the one that Linda has been keeping secret from both Sharon and the Panissars. Elaine has arrived, and my God, she is fabulous.
She's arrived, all right, hasn't she?
I love her.
Just what we needed. Just what we needed.
I mean, this is a sort of a role in the Vic that hasn't been filled for a while, isn't it? And you sort of realise that it's been missing I mean, obviously Linda is amazing. We love Linda. That's beside the point, right? And Linda has kind of got her dramatic side as well. But I mean, in walks Elaine, like with an iconic opening line, "Time for the Vic to meet its new queen, if we ask." And sort of like it's a really sort of a kind of almost over the top matriarch that really sort of gravelly and down to earth and just sort of earthy woman that the Vic has been sort of missing. And it's I can't wait to see Elaine properly, like as the weeks go on. This is going to be great. And already she is marvellous. We'll talk about the story.
I'm going to say she's already done quite a bit, hasn't she?
Oh, she's already causing issues to people. Very exciting. So Linda is at a loss of what to do with Sharon and with Nish because she's getting these phone calls from my cat's just climbing in through the window. We might get invaded in a minute. She's got my putty cat, bless her. She's just crawled in through the window. Anyway, so she yes, hello. Don't go in front of the camera. That's it. Good girl. Because mixed presumption of death certificate has arrived. So that's completely trying to throw her off kilter. And Sharon has been really, really helpful in trying to explain it all to Ollie, because Ollie's kind of not really, obviously, because he's only young, is not really.
What an amazing friend Sharon is. I mean, talk about trying to make someone feel more guilty.
Isn't she? Isn't she just?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing with Linda, right? So, I mean, she was out of order by why did she keep it this long from Sharon?
Well, shady, shady. Because she weren't convinced that her mum were going to get the funds, but. Yeah, it's still not good enough. I'd be fuming like Sharon.
You tell Sharon, surely, like, no, I might just go with my mum. Right, this is probably going to be easy if I just get mum to.
Yeah, maybe don't sell sell half of the gym to.
Don't wait until Sharon. Yeah, don't wait until Sharon has literally sold all her assets off in order to pay for your pub to survive, and then mention it when your mum's about to walk through the door. Like, by the way, this isn't for you, by the way. You don't own this pub anymore.
Just only kidding.
Go on, get out. There we go. So when Sharon finds out about this, Sharon is fuming. And there is they have a blazing row in the middle of it. Because Sharon said some quite harsh stuff to her as well. Like brings it can't trust a drunk or even an ex-drunk. Which I thought was a little bit out of order, although I did absolutely adore Suki's reaction to it. Suki and Nish are in the background because they've just been told that they weren't going to have the Vic either. And Nish is fuming. We'll come on to Nish in a minute. But I was just loving Suki's reaction, loving the drama. She was absolutely having a great time. She didn't want the Vic anyway. She was just loving loving spectator sport for Suki. She was just absolutely loving it. But yeah, Sharon is basically spends the week like being just the best friend of the world to Linda, and like giving those
comments were below the belt though, because like when you are best friends with someone, you shouldn't chuck something like that back in the face, no matter what happens.
Yeah, it was, and especially kind of like Sharon's got experience with alcoholics, not only with Phil but with Angie.
But also, I guess it just shows how angry she is as well.
She was absolutely fuming. So Linda comes clean to Nish, by the way. So she's told Nish that I've got another partner. This isn't you. Just after Nish has given her a quite hideous glass flamingo. I don't know what was that. I mean, the flamingo does become important later on, but it was like
but later on they comment on the flamingo and like, oh, it's weird. And do you know what? I must be the only person watching who thought, no, I didn't like it. Like. But I thought for Linda's taste, like it was quite a nice gift.
Linda. It was very Linda.
Yeah, and I'm like, what a thoughtful gift. Like they know what she likes.
Nish lovely? Isn't Nish a nice person?
Yeah, Isn't Nish lovely? That's such a thoughtful gift from the Panissars. Oh,
do you know what? Nice. Nish is misunderstood. He's a nice bloke, really.
Yeah, look, a flamingo.
She loves flamingos, does Linda? What a nice man. So basically now Sharon knows and now Nish knows, just as all of this is kind of being thrown at Linda from both angles.
in walks Elaine. Now we have the iconic heel shot from the taxi because anyone.
I knew you'd love that. I saw that. I'm like, oh, Rob.
I mean, hey, what can I say? I'm a walking cliche. But to be
you
fair,
just love a black cab foot scene, don't you?
I'm gonna make one for myself one day. I'm just gonna, as soon as I arrive, whenever I move out somewhere, I'm gonna film myself coming out of a taxi and just film myself like stepping out from the taxi and just get.
By the way, to anyone who has or hasn't seen the trailer that we did before we started this podcast, Rob wanted us to both step out of a black cab. That was his first idea for the trailer. I don't think it would have had the same effect as both of our trainers somehow.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Oh no, I'd have put you in high heels. I'd have worn high heels.
Are you joking? You'd have put me in high heels?
Damn right I would. 10-inch high heels.
I haven't got stilettos, mate. I think I've got wedges at most. I'm a trainer gal.
That'll do.
Anyway,
so
sorry.
Yes, Elaine arrives and is sort of just instantly. Now, I quite like the fact that she remembered some of the residents from when she was there before. So she remembered Martin, she remembered Sonia, she remembered Sharon, didn't remember Alfie. She had to be reminded who Alfie was. Even though
Alfie, to be fair, it were obviously quite accurate that she'd only crossed paths with him once, maybe at a wedding. You don't really see everyone at a wedding, do you? So,
but it was quite nice. Like she likes Reiss. She thinks she's odd but nice. Quite liked Alfie at first, but then she's sacking Alfie. She's not interested in saving
It also
Alfie.
shows that she's the right person for that kind of pub because it's a very local pub where you get to know all of your residents. And I mean, she gave them all free drinks for half an hour. Is she mad? Is she mad?
Did you do that in your bar? Giving free drinks?
No, not for half an hour. No, there'd be a lot of small print involved in that, like your first drink and then you might get a shot with it, and then after that and we're going to stamp your hand to make sure you're not taking P155.
yeah, fair enough. But Elaine quickly, I know you would. Elaine quickly makes herself some enemies though, even though she's quite popular by the fact that she gives everyone free drinks for half an hour. She very quickly also makes some enemies, especially with Nish. Now Nish is obviously kind of sitting there fuming, like giving off the impression, not that bothered, I've got other businesses, but obviously absolutely livid about the fact that this brassy woman has just taken over an establishment that he was quite looking forward to owning. So again, Suki, loving it. Just sitting there, absolutely loving it. But she manages to get them both barred.
Rewind.
Yes.
When he came in, when Suki and Nish came in, when they still thought they had the Vic, who was with them? That weren't wholesalers, were it?
Oh, yeah, no. It
was the movie they were showing off to.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just, Nish just described them as business associates. So with the Panasars, that could literally be anybody. Yeah, I mean, it could literally be. You can imagine Nish would have business associates, but to the point where they don't even need to explain who they are. It's just business associates.
Okay, fair enough.
Because let's be honest, the Panasars own half the planet at this point, like in several different countries, all around London, all around the square. They're like the Alan Sugar of their time. Like they just own the world. But Suki and Nish get barred from the pub because Elaine does not like them at all. And what that does is possibly result in, it was Nish, right? The pub gets broken into.
Of course it was. He got somebody else to do it, obviously, but
yeah, of course he wouldn't get his own hands dirty. He probably got Vinny to do it. He loves getting Vinny.
I was thinking that
sort of thing. But somebody breaks into the Vic at night later on. And leaves the flamingo gift sort of strategically placed in the bar as almost like a calling card. And Linda sort of spots it, and Elaine kind of spots it, and they're like, oh, okay, so another war has been established, and yet another enemy for Nish, leading up to Christmas. So how many is that on sort of? I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's all very good, like kind of keeping the identity of the victim a secret, and it may well still turn out to be somebody else. But they're really sort of pushing it home that Nish is on the floor on Christmas Day, aren't they?
It's almost too obvious, though, isn't it?
This is what I mean. This early on in the process, we've still got months to go to all this, and now you've got Nish would quite happily be killed by Suki. Sharon could probably, because Sharon had some stuff with him last week. Linda's now going to have stuff with him. Elaine could quite easily be the number 7 in the 6, so you could add Elaine to the number.
Yeah, definitely. Easily.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really, really.
I don't know though. Maybe it's all just part of a bigger thing that's going to, explode that we're still not quite sure about, because it's all been done pretty smartly, hasn't it?
I bow down to the wisdom of Clenners. The Clenners can do. I believe in Clenners. Meanwhile, of course, Sharon and Linda's relationship is in tatters right now. Like, Sharon's
Yeah.
fuming. Sharon is hurt. She feels betrayed, and she's really, really not happy. And it's interesting now because, I mean, can Sharon and Linda's relationship be repaired from this? Is Sharon going to understand? Because Sharon has sold her half of the gym to Phil for no reason whatsoever. Linda let her do that.
She'll be made her honour soon. They're too good of friends. I think that she'll be fuming, but to be fair, they're not rowing as such. It's just Sharon shouting at Linda, isn't it? Like, at least Linda's not like, oh no, you're being unfair. She's fully like, I am sorry.
Yeah,
it does.
Linda knows she screwed up big time.
Yeah.
What I quite enjoyed was Elaine kind of coming and going, have you not told her about this yet, you stupid mare?
Yeah.
Well,
I told you to tell her ages ago. Thought that were your friend.
Sorting out. Good luck with that, sorting your friendship out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, there was a little moment with Elaine, kind of a private moment, which was on the phone to having quite a flirtatious phone call with somebody. Now, we do know there is more to come. We've got the Knights on the way. So presumably that is who she was on the phone to. But when are they coming along? I can't wait to kind of meet the whole, because this is just the start. This is Elaine is like sort of like the pilot fish for the whole sort of mothership to come in and sort of take over the Vic. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this new era of the Vic come in. But Elaine is a great star. I love her. She is.
How do you feel about the recasting?
Delightful. Harriet Thorpe's great. I've seen her in stuff before, and she's perfect. I mean, I think Marie Feldman, I think that was her name. She was great. I mean, I liked Elaine beforehand. She was kind of like, I liked her rivalry with Babe. I remember that. Like, that went on for quite a while, and she was great in that. But instantly, I was took by new Elaine.
Yeah.
Liked her instantly. She fits in like a glove behind that bar. She looks like she's been working in bars all her life. That's believable. And she's just camp. She's extravagant. She's funny. She's feisty. She's not afraid to kind of kick off at anybody that comes her way. For Christ's sake, when they thought the pub had been broken into, she just grabbed an iron and was like, right, I'm off. Like, I'm ready now.
I thought they were both really brave.
Yeah, counted to 3, went off on 2. Can't fault her for that. Absolutely, I love her. Absolutely love her. I'm very, very excited by this. This is a brand new era for the Vic. Hurricane Elaine has arrived. I cannot wait. Very, very exciting. Anything else to say on that? Have you finished your thoughts on that? Anything more to say on Elaine?
I think so, yeah. I think you've covered it, to be fair, mate. Like, she's brilliant. Can't wait.
Love her. Can't wait to
see which other enemies she's going to make and which other friends she's going to make.
I mean, it won't take long. I mean, enemies is easy enough. Who do you think she'll be friends with? Like, once Sharon kind of gets over this, do you reckon her and Sharon could be mates, or do you reckon that's going to be tricky between the two of them going forwards?
I don't know, because she's not got any reason to have anything against Sharon, and vice versa, really, because it's not either one of them's fault. Kathy, maybe? Oh, maybe that's how Kathy's going to link into the 6.
Yeah, maybe.
So I could see them being friends, being a similar age, and both owning businesses in the square, and So maybe Kathy.
Interesting. So, Ree, who's your gold star going to this week?
Reiss.
Interesting. That's not. Yeah, good.
I just think I've just really rated him this week, like the actor as well, and. Yeah, I think they had some really nice scenes, and again, feeling sorry for someone that maybe I shouldn't feel too sorry for, but Reiss.
You can't not feel sorry for him. I'm stuck with mine. I mean, obviously Elaine is a top.
I thought you were going to say Elaine, which is why I didn't say Elaine.
Well, obviously, I think Elaine did what she was supposed to do this week, and I will give Elaine a gold star further down the line, I think. But actually, I'm going to give my gold star to Kim this week. Because I think what we got from Kim this week was sort of the wide range of what Kim is capable of. We got some funny comedy stuff, and we got the serious stuff, which Tamika Epson always excels at. So she really kind of like expanded it, like showed us her repertoire this week, essentially, didn't she? With the anxiety stuff and all the other silly stuff, with the Eurovision and the crown competition that was going on in the coronation, and calling and getting confused of how to address a judge. It was just the whole Kim kit and caboodle all tied into one little ribbon. She did really, really well this week. I was really pleased. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, that was the week in war for this week. Busy old week and some really exciting stuff to come. I cannot wait. Very exciting. We should conclude this week's podcast with some comments from you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, we finish the show as usual with some comments from our Facebook and all of our socials. Ree, who is our first comment this week, please?
Our first is Susan Perry, who said, "It was so sweet how Sharon gave Ollie the toy so he can talk to his dad. Made me think of when she lost her dad the first time. Not surprised she said to Linda that you can't trust a drunk. So much of Sharon's family / relationships / traumas are linked to the Vic. Spot on character writing, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think that's the other thing that Sharon was so angry about, because she said this week that she was looking forward to Albie growing up in the Vic like she did, and then that's been taken away. So you can kind of see where Sharon's coming from and why she's
big
so angry.
thing, isn't it? Yeah, all of it.
But
she's expecting her new life to be there, and now it's not.
Yeah. This is what I mean. I think it's going to take a while for Linda and Sharon to fix themselves.
Yeah, you might be right, to be fair.
Lots of support for Elaine on our Facebook group. Everyone seems to love her on our Facebook. Bob Barnes says, kudos to the scriptwriters for making sure Elaine remembered everyone from her last visit. Shanice Marianne Ward says, I love this Elaine. She's iconic. Alison Snelling, I'm starting to think Elaine is the 7th matriarch in the Christmas storyline. And Tracy Riccio, if I hope I pronounced that right, says, oh my God, I love Elaine. She would be so great with Vicky Michelle. They should bring her back as well. Yeah, it's just these older women, these older matriarchs are just they fit in so well onto the square, don't they? It's great. I cannot wait to see what's going to go on with future Elaine. It's great, and I love that Linda has now got like a whole fresh new direction to go in as well. Because losing,
that's true.
I've got to be honest with you, I'm not missing Nick.
I know, it's really bad to say,
I really thought I would.
I thought the same, because I love Danny Dyer as well. But yeah. I think once he knew he was leaving, they weren't doing much with his character, to be fair. So I think that's probably why we're not missing him. So that's good in a way. And I've got one last comment as well, Rob, from Teresa Robertson, who says, love Elaine, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. She got me with the heels, but grabbing the iron, counting to 3 and moving on 2 totally sold me. She read Nish like trashy novel while on vacation, cover to cover. What a brilliant way to sum that up, Teresa.
I love that.
Love
like
that.
A trashy novel on vacation.
Yeah, cover to cover.
I like it. Do you want to write our material, Teresa? That might be easier. You can write our trailers and all the stuff that we say, because that was very nicely summed up. I like that. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Another great week. EastEnders is just on fire at the moment. It's so good. And that's the thing, even the Ben stuff, I can see the good in it. It's subjective. Yes, Ben annoys me a lot of the time, but I can see why they're doing it. It's all linked in. So, and if that's the biggest thing I've got to complain about at the moment, then the show is in a pretty good state. I'm very, very excited. Ree, how can our darling viewers and listeners get in contact with us?
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. And if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and all your favourite podcast sites. Lastly, email us at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Let me second that. If you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe. The bigger we get, the
please subscribe. Not
that we're begging or anything.
No. I wouldn't do that.
But the bigger we get, the better we get. So
yes,
click the button.
Just do it.
Click the button. Thank you very much again, Ree. We'll be back same time next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you next week, guys. Bye.